worst date.
My worst date. All right. Okay, so I met her. She works at the bank that I bank at, and so we decided to go to a Dodgers game. And I brought a buddy of mine along because she wanted to bring one of her friends. So we'd all go to a baseball game for the first date, kind of break the ice and have fun. So, anyways, so she's driving. The three of us, her friend and her friend sitting in the front seat, and me and my buddy are in the back seat. And we're drinking on the way up there, having some rum and a couple beers and kind of pre-gaming it for the Dodgers game. And so we get to the parking lot and we finish a couple beers and then we walk up to the stadium and we're feeling pretty good. I buy the tickets, because it's our first date and stuff, and I want to be nice, be a gentleman and buy the tickets and stuff like that. And so we get some pretty good seats. We walk to the entrance to where they're letting us in, and pretty inebriated at this point, feeling good, ready for the Dodgers game. And I didn't realize that, so we're getting searched as we're going in. And I pull out, they ask you to empty your pockets or whatever before they pat you down. So I didn't realize my buddy had passed me back the flask that we were drinking out of before we got out of the car, and I had it in my pocket. So I pulled it out and just set it aside. The police officer grabs me, and the security guard grabs me and says, you can't bring any alcohol or anything into the event. I said, that's fine, you could just throw it away, So they detained me. Instead of saying, no, you can throw it away, they detained me and write me a ticket, end up ripping up the ticket but wouldn't let me in and ripped up my game ticket. So I sit in the car for about 4 or 5 innings while she was nice. The girl that I was on the date with was nice enough to stay out of the game with me for the first few innings and talk in the car in the parking lot, which is like super embarrassing to have to. And then, so after that, my buddy comes out with her friend, and I'm not allowed in, obviously, so my buddy's going to spend the rest of the game outside with us so they can at least finish watching the game and have fun. So she gives us her car keys to drive around LA. By the way, that looks like a great burger. Anyway, so she gives us her car keys to drive around LA while they watch the rest of the Dodgers game. That being said, I'm already kind of pissed off at the whole situation, as anybody kind of would be annoyed at that point. So we decide to go to a nearby bar and watch the actual game on television, have some more drinks. The game ends up going into extra innings, so we end up getting extra drinks than we normally would have. And then she finally calls. We go to pick her up, spend I don't know how long trying to find where she's at in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium. Realize that when we pick her up, there is a very flamboyant gay man with them that apparently they know from cheer camp from high school or something, which I have nothing against gay people whatsoever, but very flamboyant and also hitting on my friend and I quite often. and I wasn't in the best mood. I mean, at that point I was glad that the girl was having kind of a good time. But then she says, oh, well, we have to go drop him off in LA because he doesn't have a ride. So I'm already ready to go home. I didn't get to see any of the baseball game. I paid for the tickets. So finally, my buddy that was with me thinks I'm a crazy driver at some points. This woman was by far, I think we almost crashed 2 or 3 times, and we went up on the curb once or twice. And she wasn't drinking, mind you, so I'm glad she didn't have any drinks, but it ended up being a total fiasco. And so we drop the gay guy off, and he ends up pissing towards the window of the car, which, yes, so you can see his, so really trying to, I'm trying not to be a dick and be like, this is not cool. It's beyond.
Plus, you don't want to show your dick.
Yeah, exactly, yes. And it's just like, but I don't want to be a fucking asshole. And I was kind of getting mad, and then her and her friends started getting angry for me getting mad at him, and I'm like, fuck, so anyways, so we're driving back, and then they needed to stop to use the restroom. So we get another, beer, or another tall can in the back seat. By the time we got back, she was being such a bitch that, she asked us to pay for gas, or asked me and my friend to pay for gas, and we're like, you know what, fuck that. I've already, had to deal with enough shit on the way back, and you guys drove another 45 minutes into LA, farther than we needed to go, and paid for your tickets, and we bought them food on the way up, too. So it was just and needless to say, she called me 2 weeks later wanting to hang out, but I just didn't, that was probably one of the worst, the longest worst dates that I could not bail on, because if I would have bailed on it, I would have had to find a ride home or taken a friggin' bus that would have taken forever. It was definitely, I probably didn't explain it in as much detail because I don't want to bore you, but it was not a fun time, man. It got worse and worse and worse, and then the gay guy, and there was so many strange things, and then almost getting in multiple accidents, and yeah, no good.
Good story.
Yeah, no good.